Darin and Anita on Grand Strand. A music evolution. Now, Darin and Anita with your Grand Strand Artist Spotlight.
Darin and Anita on Grand Strand, back from a commercial break. And it is time now, folks, for our Spotlight interview segment. And you've heard his music in the show the last couple months. Well, folks, we have got him on the phone right now from San Bernardino, California, Jimmy Sterling. Jimmy, how are you?
Hey, Darin, how's it going, buddy?
It is going fine, man.
Listen, I am thrilled to be on the show, man. I am one of your biggest fans.
Well, thank you so much, man. I tell you, it's a pleasure to talk to you. We've got to hear your music and everything over the last 2 months with At Least I Tried, which we were working, and then now we got to give it up a little bit because that's what's going out. You've been signed to a record label, and you've just got an extensive background in the entertainment business. And Jimmy, just to bring the folks up to par with you and what you've done, how did you get started in this entertainment thing?
Oh my God, my father was a professional drummer. Believe it or not, he was just born in it. I started out playing drums actually, right, as a backup musician with a lot of groups, and of course, I'm out of Detroit. Motown was everything. The kids my age coming up, and I played with a few local bands around the city, and some talent contests. I got with early on with Edward Starr, did some shows and some touring with him, Jimmy Ruffin. And I got to tell you, Jimmy Ruffin, I was supposed to go to England with Jimmy Ruffin,
right,
at one time. And we used to rehearse in his brother's basement, David Ruffin,
right,
who was at that time, he just left the Temptations. That's where I found my vocal stylings from,
right,
was David Ruffin. And I sang songs David forgot he sang. He recorded. And of course, now during this time, my good friend Ken Knox, he was running around Detroit doing some things. He had gotten with General and Danny Woods of Chairman of the Board. I left touring with Jimmy Ruffin and wound up going with Chairman of the Board. Danny Woods is the one that actually brought me into the group.
Right.
And then I met General, and so I toured with those guys, and I'm telling you, I was with them for maybe 6, 7, 8 years straight. And I was doing vocals, singing during the set, doing vocals and playing drums behind General. I learned a lot of vocal things from General Johnson.
He was a very talented man when he came to those kind of things.
Yes.
Did you come south with General and them down into the Carolina beach music world, didn't you?
Yeah, that's where when I entered the group. As a matter of fact, I pretty much put the entire band together for General and Danny, because I was performing with some guys there in Detroit.
Right.
And now, let me back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
General had just re-entered the group himself because General had gone solo. And
right.
He was with Darins Records at the time.
Right.
And then General decided, you know what, he came back to the group. And then when I got into the group, like I said, we pretty much put the band together for him, and he did a lot of performing and touring down there, right there in the Carolinas.
Exactly.
I lived in Greensboro. Yeah, I moved from Detroit. I loved it down there. I moved from Detroit and came and lived in Greensboro, back and forth from Detroit.
Right. You're on some of the first Chairman of the Board songs, like On the Beach and songs like that. I think you're the drummer on all those songs.
Absolutely. I sure am. That's the whole entire album of Success. On the Beach, Carolina Girls, Summer Love, Success.
Basically, Jimmy, when folks hear Carolina Girls and they hear those licks back there on the back, that's you on those drums back there in Carolina Girls, folks.
That's me.
That is Jimmy Sterling.
That is me. Like I say, Ken and I, we've been up the road for years together. We kind of broke off and lost contact. Well, what happened was I got an offer to come to California. That's how I'm here now.
Right.
To record. And I got with a company called Americom Records. So they released about 4 sides, and At Least I Tried was probably the most successful of the music.
To tell the folks some other songs that Americom released on you, It's Gonna Take Time, Let's Do It, At Least I Tried, we talked about, and I'm All Right in a World Gone Crazy.
Now, one song, It's Gonna Take Time, Ken Knox and I wrote that.
That's cool.
That was one of the songs Ken and I wrote. I actually wrote those songs before I came to California.
Okay.
But while I was with General and the guys, I wrote most of the stuff while I was there, and then I let a guy out here the owner of the label, Marvin Lewis, he listened to the tracks and said, "Hey, come on out." Yeah, and then right after that, I met up with Art Stewart, who did a lot of things with Marvin Gaye, with Rick James, Tina Marie, and he took me under his wing, and that's how we came to do Got to Give It Up. Now, Art, I have to tell you, originally produced Got to Give It Up with Marvin Gaye.
Right.
So he, so I was tickled pink that he thought enough of me to say, "Well, hey, man, I think you can lay this track down. I think you can do this song."
Exactly.
And so I'm just thrilled to have the music being played again. I'm looking forward to coming down there with you guys and partying, and I hope you can get you Anita to come to the show and bring me on an MC or do something.
Exactly. Well, let's jump up to speed now. Let's bring folks up to speed. We got some history on Jimmy Sterling, and folks, right now, Got to Give It Up, Marvin Gaye tune, and you've redone this thing. And Jimmy, let me tell you, it's smoking, man. It is smoking. What you're doing on this song. Now, I know you just signed a deal to bring this in. This is really cool to bring to folks with CDS Records, and they're out in L.A. also in the Southern Soul world and breaking in, I guess you'd say, a little bit to the Carolina beach music world. That's incredible, man.
Man, I'm bewildered and shocked because I never would have thought that this would have happened this way. I stood and shout, Got to Give It Up for me. We just weren't able to procure a good deal on it. So,
right.
We kind of put it on the shelf, and next thing I look up CDS Records taking it to another level for us.
Here we are. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to give a little props because I know a little bit about this, talking to you off the air a little bit. Give some props to Ken Knox a little bit because he sort of put that together in a way, I guess you would say.
That's my buddy. Yeah, he well, as you know, he introduced me to you. He introduced me to Dylan over at CDS Records. Of course, we can't forget Cassie.
Yeah, I got a Cassie C.J. Fox. Got to put her in there. Big in the Southern Soul world.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm just braced and poised. Like I say, hopefully to get down there this summer so we can boogie, man, have a good time.
No, you called it partying early on in the interview, man. Let's stick with the party. Party and boogie. How's that?
Okay. And listen, I want to thank you, Darin. You have been probably more supportive than anyone I can remember in recent times. And I thank you. I take my hat off to you, and I owe you a debt of gratitude.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Jimmy. And I tell you what, let's give it to him right now. Here we go. This is the latest song, folks, by Jimmy Sterling. And I tell you what, listen to the voice. They were talking about Jimmy Ruffin a little early, David Ruffin. Listen to Jimmy right here because it's going to take you back, folks. The voice, man, it's incredible. Jimmy, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks again, Darin. Talk to you. This is Jimmy Sterling. Got to Give It Up.
Darin and Anita on Grand Strand. A music evolution.